Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage.
It's a Dinkle beard.
This, as you might have guessed, has something to do with Peter Dinklage.
What? Tell me more.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
No, Peter Dinklage was, well, I don't know. Destiny was widely criticized because of his character,
Which was a little flying like drone robot that followed.
This little.
That wasn't the only reason the game was criticized.
It was one of the reasons. It was one of the more apparent reasons. He had this rather uninspired
It was
tone of voice.
tone of voice throughout the whole.
It was inspired. It was Cortana because it was just the
Cortana?
remake. Yeah, it was the remake.
What are you talking
See,
about?
I would almost say
That wizard came from the moon.
I so wish I would have picked up. One of
Why
those
did
shirts
I
when
not
they were
have that?
No, but anyhow, they actually are in this new expansion pack that they are releasing. That is another $40 if you want
Are a
to
sucker.
just throw money away.
Here, hold on. Just I think I've.
There
we go.
Oh, do you have
The
that?
Hive haven't been on Earth in centuries. That wizard came from the moon.
Oh my God! It sounded like Harrison Ford's voiceover from Blade Runner.
Let's listen to that again. That was good.
The Hive haven't been on Earth in centuries. That wizard came from the moon.
Like there was no excitement at all. In that.
Well,
It's just
and
like-
this
He's a
is
robot.
This is supposed to be like this big revelatory moment where it'd be like if I don't know, we found out something ridiculous is happening.
Like there was a
something
wizard
scary.
that came from the moon.
Like if we like learned like dragons still lived on the earth or something. Well, it lived on the
Hitler
earth
was
or
a
something.
unicorn.
or something
Trevor-
like that.
I don't know about you, but I
One
would
of a
still be
kind,
surprised if there was a wizard that came from the moon
Well, I
right
mean,
now.
In any case, yeah, this is supposed to be some big moment, and it's just such. And I don't
In
know.
centuries. That wizard came from the moon.
It's just so bad. But anyhow, they chose to replace.
Peter Dinklage.
Well, they recast his character with Nolan North. Some of you might be familiar with him. He's done several things. Like he was the main. He played Desmond Miles in Assassin's Creed. He's more popular known as Nathan Drake from Uncharted.
Yeah.
And he's done a lot of stuff. If you've played many video games, you've probably heard his voice at some point.
Yeah.
But anyhow, they recast his character as Nolan North. But on top of that, they also had Nolan North dub over all of his lines, and so
Like
if you get re-record them all.
Yeah.
And so it's just like the ultimate insult.
This has got to be unprecedented, though.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, because maybe if it was before the game was released, or like after the beta was out, and then people were like, "Oh, the voice acting sucked. Let's replace it." But they
scrubbed him.
but it's after the fact,
Yeah.
though. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of a testament to the day and age we live in, where you can like put out a game and then
It's an
they
update.
just update it to
Yeah.
death. And
Because suckers will still pay money for it.
It's the George Lucas method.
so you can actually now you'll be able to be in that same spot and hear Nolan North say that wizard came from the moon.
Honestly, it would almost be worth it just to buy that, just to hear that.
Oh, so you only get it if you pay the $40 for the new
I take it that
expansion.
way. I guess I'm not for sure if it's something.
Is that the Taken King expansion?
The
Yes.
Taken King expansion.
How many expansions have come out?
This will.
That wizard came from the moon.
Sorry.
I think this will be the third.
And how much has each of them cost?
Nothing for the
$20,
others.
$20.
No, $20 for the
$40.
season pass, and then
Was it?
the new one was $40.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. The new one's the expensive one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're talking about $60 in downloadable content.
So even if you bought the season pass, this one you have to pay for. That's
Yeah.
the difference.
Which is
and
dumb.
you already spent $69 for the game itself when it first came out?
yes.
Yep,
Which like
59.
Don't get me wrong though, but the people who are doing this are the people who've put in thousands of hours.
Yeah,
I mean,
But how do you... I don't understand how people put thousands of hours into that game because there was not much content there to
it's
begin
not about
with.
it's not a content game, and I can some of you know
it's a
I
carrot on a
actually
stick.
do I
It's a
do play
carrot
the
on a
game.
stick, right?
Okay, so I do play the game, and it's an achievement game. It has nothing to do
achievement game. Explain that.
So an achievement game is if you're someone who just goes after collecting achievements. So
What are achievements?
achievements? You're being cynical now?
No, what are what do you mean? Do you mean like personal achievements, like?
Yeah, like achievements in the game.
Or are you
So
talking about the ones that
it's-
unlock when you do something and they get points on your gamer score?
That's partially it. So it's all the above. So there's the gamer score ones. They have things in the game called Grimoire cards, which basically unlock when you do certain things or when you use a specific weapon in a specific way for so many times. People collect games and outfits in the game and store them, and it's kind of
But
this
don't you think? I mean, don't you think
collector
at
game.
some point though, that's just a way to defend a bad game because people that have already invested a bunch of time into it, they want to defend a bad game because they don't want to feel like they've wasted their time.
Well, I don't think they're defending a bad game.
Because at the end of the day,
if there was
Destiny is a very specific loop, and it has killer controls. The controls are fantastic. I wish the shooting controls were like that in every first-person shooter. They're really tight and they feel good. But beyond that, there is a very specific loop where you just shoot the same stuff over and over again, and then try to upgrade your gear.
Well, and it's not even like it's not even like the Call of Duty games where you go in and you match make and play against each other.
Well,
like the fact that the game can be beaten in 8 hours when it came out as
that's the first part of the game, though.
Then you got to pay.
But then you
got to
pay for the rest of it.
You're right, but that's the new model.
That's terrible though that you have to pay that much for the entire game. Like that is absolutely terrible, and that's the reason that I didn't waste any more time and money on it, because I was like, oh, well, they gave me a half-finished game.
Here's the deal, though.
Trade it in.
But you could get like Horizon every 8 months a new game. It's just they're instead of
they
buying new games, you're buying expansions in the game world.
But they take the barrier away once they launch an expansion. So like, it's really hard to get to level whatever, like the level cap.
Yeah, they keep upping it at each one.
Yeah, but then once the next expansion comes out, it becomes immediately easier to get to that level. So all the work you did, I could come in later and not have to do half the work to get to the level that you were at previously.
That was an argument in the first expansion. The second expansion, they fixed some of that with some of the different things that they changed on the way the guns level up. The way that they rank up is different. There's a few different pieces around how you can actually change the stats in the guns. So you can actually have the same gun with two different types of stats, so they do different things. So there has been some growth to it. I agree. There's a lot of people who don't like it and don't like that type of play. But they've got a huge ecosystem, so they're making money.
To each his own.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, Dinklage is gone. Nolan is in. I honestly go back to it every once in a while just because I want to see where it's at, and it is a really fun game at its core mechanic, like at a molecular level.
I think the problem. I think what Destiny's problem was, it was a fun game. It just wasn't a great game.
You could say that about a lot of things. I think its problem was it was a content problem. It was like, look
at Titanfall though; it's better than that. That was a great game.
I think Titanfall was way better, but that's because
it
that's
had
a
no
game
storyline too.
See,
it had great gameplay,
but that was a multiplayer against each other. You can sit down and play with friends and have a completely different experience every time you go in.
Maybe the problem is with Titanfall, you knew what you were getting into. You knew it was multiplayer only. You knew what it was. Where Destiny, there was a hype train behind that thing that was like nobody's business. So when we got in there and we like, this is Bungie. This is Bungie's first game since they left Microsoft. This is going to be a huge deal. And then it was just kind of like, oh, never mind. This isn't what we thought it was. Bungie just really wanted to make an RPG.
Well, obviously all the good story writers stuck with Microsoft.
It basically felt like if No Man's Sky gets released and you only get access to like 3 planets. Like that's what Destiny felt like to me.
There was 4 planets in the Crucible.
Oh, so
all right, enough of that.
We sold Destiny tonight.
There you
go. People go play some Destiny, okay?
The wizard came from the moon.